Welcome to a new Team CGC 9.8 video. So today I have a variant comic book that I want to recommend, but luckily this one isn't like $700 or $800 because some of these variants, the potential's kind of exceeding sort of my expectations. Like I know even right now like Darth Vader 3, that variant is like $800 in the 9.8, and then you have like Venom number 3 third print in the 9.8, that's like $700 or $800 right now. And then there's certainly the Spider-Gwen and the Miles Morales variants, which have absolutely taken off thousands and thousands in the 9.8. I think right now this variant, it's a really good time to consider this one, and it's a really good price, certainly when you're looking at all these other variants in the CGC 9.8. Really quick though, before we get into it, I did want to invite everyone out there to join the team and subscribe to Team CGC 9.8. Yeah, I would love to have you on our comic book collecting and comic book investing team. Hit the bell for all the latest video notifications, and add me on Instagram and Twitter too as well. All the links in the description below for the socials. Okay, well, let's get right into it here. I think now is such a good time to buy this second print variant. So the CGC 9.8 that I think right now you can get in there and grab is a Merc With A Mout number 7, the second printing. Yeah, so, a big first appearance on this one. Certainly a more rarer variant second printing of a Merc With A Mout number 7. Great cover. Yeah, great Lady Deadpool cover. It's the first appearance of Lady Deadpool in this one. Rob Liefeld doing the cover, and he is the creator of Deadpool, kind of did the original New Mutants 98 cover as well. So I think that's really cool. Yeah, having the sort of creator of Deadpool do this sort of really rare second print for Merc With A Mout number 7. So let's kind of get into the details here. We'll look on the census. In the blue label for the second printing, Merc With A Mout number 7, there's 20 CGC 9.8s out there, just 20. Yeah, and I think there was 8 in the signature series, so just 28 graded 9.8s out there. So a really rare one, not a lot of 9.8s, you like to see that. 46.5% is the CGC 9.8 ratio. So of all graded copies, 46.5% of them are CGC 9.8s. Yeah, for these like lower printed variants, a lot of times you don't see that very low because there's just not a lot of them graded. But Merc With A Mout number 7, still kind of affordable. Yeah, that's what I think makes it really stick out. Like, great cover. Liefeld doing the cover kind of makes it special. We'll get a little bit into the print run, but I think there's good reason to think it's pretty low printed. And given the price of some of those variants I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I just think this one's one to look out for. So I had a look on some of the completed listings. There was a really great looking kind of second print version, and I might end up using the picture here, signed by Rob Liefeld in the CGC 9.8 for that ended up selling. It was like $399.99 basically, so $400 we'll call it. Signed by Rob Liefeld. I think that's a really cool collector item that has a lot of potential. Like for $400, that book at $400. If Lady Deadpool ever kind of found herself in an MCU movie or in some, pop culture thing like a Spider-Gwen or something like that, that book's going to be worth a lot more than $400. And you can kind of say the same thing, I think, for the blue label. Yeah, it's just a really good value right now for kind of the first appearance of Lady Deadpool. Really iconic hero like the lady version, and there's really no reason, to expect that this book couldn't blow up like a sort of, first Riri Williams, first Ironheart, first Spider-Gwen, obviously, but just countless kind of female heroes and villains blowing up, so I don't really think there's any reason why this one couldn't. In the blue label, though, for price, the signature series mentioning sold for $400. Blue label, I think I'm not seeing any actually completed listings on eBay in the blue label, and there's only 20 out there, so it gives you kind of an idea of just this one's going to be tough to kind of find. But I think right over 200 is going to be like a fair value, a really fair value, I think, for an undervalued book. I think like, 225 to 250, considering the signature series went for 400. I think that's a fair price. I think if you really want this now and you kind of are like me and you maybe see the value in the book, it might be even worth like paying up to close to 300 for this, like, 275 maybe. Because I can just see, given that some of these other sort of low print variants with really cool covers have blown up, I could just see this one doing really well too, especially if Lady Deadpool kind of gets some of that promotion, like I mentioned. So it did kind of boil it down here to 4 reasons. Yeah, I forgot to mention kind of the 4 reasons, but we've probably already touched on them mostly. But let's get into them here. First reason, it's a variant with a first appearance and a cool cover that's still affordable. So like, there's not a lot of those out there right now. Like, I think Darth Vader 3 is a really good example right now of a great variant. I love it. Like, it's a one I'd recommend, but it's really expensive right now with a great cover, kind of Darth Vader lending the hand to Dr. Aphra. It's limited printed, but that one's $800 in the CGC 9.8. Yeah, like $810 kind of, I remember seeing a couple completed listings in the last few weeks in the 9.8 for about $810 for Darth Vader 3 variant. So this one with a signature series signed by the creator of Deadpool, Rob Liefeld, going for $400, there's a lot more sort of room there to the upside, and I just think this is a better value. So yeah, number 1, just a great variant with the first appearance that's still affordable. Number 2, Lady Deadpool, just for some reason, hasn't quite taken off like some of these other lady characters, and I think the main reason is there's been like no pop culture event or show or movie or anything like that, whereas, there's been Spider-Gwen and Into the Spider-Verse, and I know for Riri Williams, like, it's really easy for people to think like, okay, well, if Robert Downey Jr. kind of is retiring as Iron Man kind of because he's getting a little older, like, they could easily bring in a Lady Iron Man, like, so easy. So, but Lady Deadpool is just under the radar for some reason. I don't think there's any reason why the Lady Deadpool couldn't just blow up almost similar to a Spider-Gwen, to be honest. Yeah, especially if, and this is a big if, but if like the MCU decided to have a Lady Deadpool in the newest Deadpool movie, which I think would be a really good idea too. So that's the second reason there. Third reason, it's rare in the 9.8, and so obviously only 20 in the blue label. There's 8 signature series as well. So I was looking at some of the prints for this book because I was able to find sort of Merc With A Mout number 7, the print run on Comic Cron, and it was like just under 40,000 in the print run, and that I think is a pretty decently low printed sort of comic. Like, it's not super low printed, but anytime you're getting kind of under 40,000, it means it was not that popular when it first came out, kind of thing. So this second printing, I'm pretty sure it's a 1 of 25. So that's going to kind of put it, if there's, 40,000 of the sort of first print-ish, about 40,000, this is going to put this print run around 10,000, I would think, if it's a 1 of 25, which I'm pretty sure it is. I'm not 100% sure it is. I was having trouble finding just the kind of print run for this one, to be honest. Because it is the second printing, I just wasn't finding too much info. But I'm pretty sure it's a relatively low printed comic, let's call it. And I think the census shows that, like only 20 in the blue label, only 8 in the signature series. I think if this was a lot more well available, there would probably be quite a bit more on the census. So yeah, rare in the 9.8, low printed, kind of makes it a great collector item. Yeah, so that's the third reason. And the fourth reason here, the cover's amazing. Yeah, like, the cover's awesome. I think, Rob Liefeld, I'm kind of on the record as saying he's pretty great, but at times, like, some of his art just looks a little off, I would say. This cover does not look off. Yeah, it's just, he nailed it. It's done by Rob Liefeld, who created Deadpool, so I think that's another cool thing that makes this way cooler than the first print kind of thing. So yeah, that's the fourth reason. Yeah, cover amazing. Liefeld kind of returning to do a Lady Deadpool cover is another cool reason. Yeah, just a really cool covers. The fourth reason there, yeah, so Merc With A Mout number 7, this second printing variant, still an affordable variant in the 9.8 to, I think, get out there and hunt for sure. I mean, if you want to try to be a little bit in front of these things, like, you're not going to want to wait for like the whispers of Lady Deadpool maybe being in the next movie or something like that. And given that these are cool covers, like this one's an amazing cover. The first print's kind of cool too. I like sort of the style of that one, a little bit different, but Lady Deadpool's kind of looking pretty cute on it too. So both of these covers are kind of cool and they're affordable, and I just think the potential's there for at some point. Deadpool's so big, and Deadpool's coming back to the MCU likely, like very likely, so it really makes sense that they could have a Lady Deadpool in with the next round of Deadpool movies. Okay, so concluding up here, and I mentioned it was one of our affordable videos that we recently did, that I had bought the first print of Merc With A Mout number 7. There was one in Canada as I was sort of doing the research for our previous video that I recommended it on. Ended up buying a Merc With A Mout first print. So the Merc With A Mout second print, the Signature Series Liefeld one, I ended up grabbing that one as well. The one that we talked about that sold for $400 in this video. Yeah, you know what? I just think signed by Rob Liefeld was really a striking cover that I just really loved right off the bat. It's a variant, so I think the potential's really high. You know, some of these variants going for like 800, and you know, certainly the Spider-Gwen variant and Miles Morales variant going for even more than that. At $400, I think it made sense. Signed by Rob Liefeld, like the creator of Deadpool. Like if it was just signed by, you know, someone else that maybe did the story or something, that wouldn't have been as compelling. But I think that it was a, you know, just a really cool comic. And yeah, being that this it was the more rare second print signed by Rob Liefeld, yeah, I just thought rather than, you know, maybe thinking, oh, maybe I'll save $50, you know, I just decided to kind of pull the trigger at $400. A little bit more for shipping too, so it was kind of a pretty big decision for me, because I ended up paying kind of maybe 10 or 15 bucks more for shipping than I would normally like. But yeah, I did end up grabbing the first print, like I said in the last video, also grabbed a second print, CGC 9.8, signed by Rob Liefeld for $400. I think that's going to look pretty great. I think it's going to give me a lot of pride of ownership to have that comic book, and then if a Lady Deadpool kind of any type of promotion comes out, I think that book will certainly not be $400. And the first print's a good stab too. I think if you're a little bit more on a budget, I paid $145 for mine. It was in Canada, so I've been seeing completed listings for $120 in the first Lady Deadpool. So yeah, sort of anywhere from kind of $120 to $150, I would probably recommend the first print. For this second print in the 9.8 and the blue label, hopefully $225 to $250. I paid $400 for the 9.8 Signature Series signed by Rob Liefeld. So that's kind of the whole range of prices. Yeah, you know what? I think this one's worth a kind of buy alert video. Yeah, this one's worth a sort of buy it now kind of video, because, you know, once Marvel kind of comes out with some of these promotions, if they ever do, you know, these Lady Deadpool comics will be a lot more expensive. And yeah, I just think it's one that you could really enjoy having right now from a pride of ownership perspective, just because they are pretty cool. Yeah, I'm kind of, you know, I was kind of convinced on the coolness, and then just thinking a little bit more about the potential of Lady Deadpool. You know, I was kind of sold at that point, and definitely grabbing the first print and this more rare second print signed by Rob Liefeld, I was certainly kind of compelled to take advantage of it. All right, so yeah, hopefully you'll get some quality info there, but if you haven't already, I'd invite you again to join the team and subscribe to Team CGC 9.8 and hit the bell for all the latest video notifications, and add me on Instagram and Twitter as well. But yeah, this is one, I think it's a decent price, and you can get out there and hunt for this one, even though there's not a lot in the 9.8s. Yeah, the Raws as well. Looking on Raws, there was a couple Raws even in Canada that I was really tempted on buying in the second print for like 50 bucks-ish. That's a great deal. Yeah, look at these, check these out in the Raw too. Maybe you could probably maybe find, you know, a near mint one for, you know, maybe that $50, $60 range, I think is a steal. So yeah, you sort of, you know, always recommending the 9.8s if you can afford them. But yeah, these are kind of cool in the Raw as well. Great cover. Yeah, just a sweet book that I think has a lot of potential that could be undervalued right here. All right, thanks so much for watching today. Message me on Instagram if you did have any questions you wanted to ask me. Yeah, just always having great conversations on Instagram with the team, just about what people are buying and things like that. So send me a message if you did have any questions on Instagram. Probably the easiest way to get a hold of me. All right, that'll be it for the video today. Yeah, definitely worth a buy now video on this, you know, kind of one that really sticks out lately as one like, ooh, I really want to buy this, like instinctively. And so usually those kind of good feelings in the past, I've sort of had pretty good luck at, you know, those issues I've kind of done really well, where I've been really compelled to kind of get out there and grab them. So worth a kind of buy now video, this one. Thanks so much for watching though. Really appreciate all the support from the whole team. All right, and I'll see you on the next one.